space with green screen content video. Okay, so right here you can see a demo version of the project that I built for you, with me walking around in Dr. Indiana Jones's hideaway. Okay, you
You said it was
can
a themed room, but I can't really figure out what the theme is.
You can check out the full video in Canvas. I'll upload it for you. Now, this is just a proof of concept. It's not completely dialed in, but what's most important with this project is you just understand the concepts, okay? So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to start off in Photoshop. And one of the things that I've done in Photoshop is I've isolated a few of the objects that I want to maybe walk in front of or behind in different parts of the project, and I've just hidden all the other layers. And I'm going to go up to the File menu. Okay, for Photoshop, I'm going to go File. I'm going to go to Export, and I'm going to quick export as a PNG. Okay, and I think I called this one Dr. Jones Hideaway, just table and chandelier. Okay, and I save that as a PNG. And then you'll want another PNG file where you have everything on. Okay, except for the things that you had on in the last one. So I'm going to turn off the chandelier for this one, and I'm going to turn all the other pieces on. And then when I get to the table, I got to turn the table off. Okay, so I've got all the rest of those pieces on. Where's my table? This is where it's really nice to make sure that you have named things. There we go. The table and the table shadow are off. And now I'm going to File, Export, and I'm going to quick export this one as a PNG. And I'm going to call this one Dr. Jones's Hideaway Background. Okay, so I've got a background version, and I've got a version of the pieces that I might want to walk in front of or behind. Okay, next, we're going to go into Adobe Premiere. I've got this project already built. I'm going to make a new one. So I'm going to close this project in case you had a project open. I'm going to go to New Project. I'm going to name it last name underscore. You can title it whatever the room is. So I'm going to call mine Dr. Jones Hideaway. And I'm going to call this period number. All right. The location, definitely make sure you're putting it in your personal folder, under pixel art, under Believable Space. And you know what? If you want to be even better, you might make a folder just for the video production portion of this. Okay? You don't need a template. I'm going to skip the import mode because we're going to import things directly into it. Okay? So I'm going to click Create at that point. I've got a whole blank slate that I'm ready to work with here. Okay? First, let's bring in the media we're going to use for the project. So we're going to go to Import Media there. And so you've got your MVIs. These are going to be the video files that are going to come from the camera. Okay, so here's me and my green screen footage. Okay, just moving around, looking kind of like a dope, pointing at things that are in midair, but it all makes sense later. Okay, so I want to import that. I also have my Dr. Jones table and chandelier, and I've got my Dr. Jones background. So if I hold down the command key, I can grab each one of those, and that's probably about all I need to get started with this. I'm going to go ahead and click import. All right. So here we go. The first thing that you should drag into your timeline is going to be this green screen footage. So I'm going to double click here, and remember I'm using J, K, and L. J is going to go forwards, and here's my footage. And on my first take, I screwed up. So I'm just going past that. And then I have my second take that starts right about here. So I'm going to back this up. Entry and exits are a little tricky, as you'll see, but you can always work that out later. There we go. I'm talking, wandering around the room, checking things out. All right. And then they go ahead and walk off. I'm going to put an out point right there, and I'm just going to take this and drag it into my timeline. All right, there you have it. You've got this footage in your timeline here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move it up a layer, because this layer underneath it, video layer 1, is going to be where my background's going to go. So now I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to grab my background, and I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to stretch it out. And obviously, we can't see it. We need a way to select the moving me and eliminate the background. And so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to find the Effects tab, and if you don't have it, you can go up to Window and make sure Effects is checked. And in the Effects tab, you're going to be grabbing Video Effect under the folder called Keying, and the name of the effect is called Ultra Key. So I'm going to drag Ultra Key over and I'm going to drop it off. Okay, it doesn't immediately do anything, but we did add it to this, and so that means if we go to Effect Controls here, we will see that Ultra Key is added in the Effect Controls. Okay, now in order to start green screening or taking out the green portion, first I have to set the key color. Okay, so it says key color right here. I've got a little color picker, this little eyedropper. If I take it over here, and what you want to find is, I probably recommend sampling the floor, because the floor is a nice kind of green. You notice there are going to be some bright spots, there are going to be some shady spots, there are going to be some spots down here that didn't work well on mine. I'm going to try and clean those up before you start shooting. But if I click right here, right off the bat, it starts looking pretty good. A lot of it is gone. You'll notice you have some areas on the edges that are not working well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the top where I have these crop options. Crop left. Okay, if I start moving that, you can see what I can do. I can move away the part that wasn't in the green screen. I can get it to right about there, and that's good. Then I have crop right. Same, I'm going to take away some of this stuff so I can move that into just green screen area, and now that's looking better. Okay. If I go down a little bit, Ultra Key also has some settings. So under matte generation, okay, one of the things that helps is cranking up the pedestal. Okay, pedestal is going to take away any of the shades and tints of the green, and that looks pretty good. And then if you need to, you can mess around with transparency a little bit. If you adjust the transparency, that might help. Now, the lighting in here makes me look a little bit red. Okay, so if we go down here under color correction, we also have an option called hue. I'm going to shift the hue just a little bit forward so that I'm not quite so red looking. So I'm going to go up to maybe about 17. Okay, anywhere from 11 to 17 is probably going to look pretty good. And now we're good. Okay, we've got most of it green screened out. You know, it's looking pretty good. Some things that we're going to have to deal with here is I'm a bit of a giant in this room right now. Okay, so this is where you're going to fine tune this as you'd like, but I'm going to go up here to position, okay, under motion. And what I can do first is I can scale me down a little bit. And as you guys can see, there's a few little black artifacts there left in the background because we got some shadows on our green screen. But again, that might be better for you. Because I'm going to fix it before you start shooting. So I can make this a lot smaller. I can make myself bigger. Okay, that probably might work right there. I can also shift my position. So I can move myself up and down with this. So where I'm standing in the room, okay, I can move myself left and right with this guy over here. So I just kind of get to position it wherever I'd like. And then I can go ahead and hit play. And there you see, walking around the room looking like a champ. So the next thing, the next little trick, so this is not bad right here. And the next trick that I would probably do is I want to throw the other stuff over the top. So I'm going to go to the effects browser here. I'm going to get these objects that I had over the top, and I'm going to drag them, and I'm going to pop them right here. Okay, and I can drag this all the way out. And now you can see you have the table. Okay. Now now you see there I am. I'm behind the chandelier. Okay. Pointing at the table. Now, here's a little trick. At this point, you see I'm looking at what's on the wall there, and I go behind the chandelier, and then I take a step forward. If I wanted to make myself in front of the chandelier now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here. I'm going to right click on this guy. I'm going to unlink these two, okay, because I want to basically swap the position of these. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to use a blade tool, and I'm going to make a cut here and a cut here. And then I'm going to go back to my arrow tool. I'm just going to swap these. I'm going to take this guy, put him up there, take this guy, put him there, and now anytime as I walk up here, now I'm in front of the chandelier. See it as I keep moving. There you go. I'm standing in front of it. So anytime you just swap the position of these, it's just like working in Photoshop. You're changing the layers. The other trick I want to show you over here, where I'm checking out the window. Okay, maybe it would be fun to tighten this one up a little bit. Okay, so that I go into a close-up. Okay, so here's how I'm gonna do this. All right, watch me here. I'm gonna play it.
Wonder what those are all about.
So right before I say gorgeous view, I'm gonna tighten up on this. So again, I'm gonna use this blade tool, and I'm gonna cut these guys right here. Okay, I'm gonna cut all three of them, and I'm also gonna try and decide when I want to come out of a close-up.
Holy cow. That is so nice. Those buildings out there are just gorgeous. That's beautiful.
And then maybe as I turn my head to notice something on the other side of the room, I'm gonna make another cut. Okay, and this is where I'll go back to like the full screen. But so for these guys here, we want to get in a lot closer. Okay, so I'm gonna use my arrow tool. First, I'm gonna go ahead and go in on my picture of me. Okay, and what I can do is I can go back here in effect controls and I can scale this in. Zoom. I can drop it down a little bit. I can move it over a little bit. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and then take this layer here, and I may just hide it. So I'm just going to crop this one from the top down so I don't see it for now, but I can bring it back in here if I want. And then I'm going to go to this bottom layer here, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to zoom in on that. Zoom. I'm going to scale this one down here. Boom. And maybe just move it over to right about there. And the table doesn't need to be in there, so I'm just going to go back up here. I'm going to crop that guy from the bottom up so I don't see the table. But now, you know, maybe this is about right. I think if I look back here, let's see, my head was right about the top of that. So if I come in here, it's a little bit tall, so let's go ahead and drop me down a little bit. So go here, shift the position down. And now, check this out.
Wonder what those are all about. Gorgeous sunset. Holy cow. That is so nice.
Awesome. I like that, but I want to move them both over just a little bit because I don't like the framing. So I'm just going to do this. Oops. I'm going to move me over here. And then I'm going to take this one down here, and I'm going to move it over a little bit. And then I think that looks a little bit nicer. Here we go.
Wonder what those are all about. Gorgeous sunset. Holy cow.
Okay.
That is so nice.
Now things are going to look a little bit grainy because we're zooming in on the pixels. You know, you could always shoot some of these close-ups separately with a different camera, a different lens, shoot it as a close-up. Okay, but again, we're working proof of concept on this. Okay, so there you go. You're going to want to play with yours. You just need to get that green screen footage and write yourself a cool script, and then we'll play. If you want to try some other things out and shoot some stuff later, go for it. See my final stages here. I'm going to put an out point at the end of this. I'm going to put an in point at the beginning of this. Then I'm going to go to the file menu, and I'm going to choose to export this media. I'm going to go ahead and name it. This is my Heimerdinger _ Dr. Jones Hideaway and _ the period number. And it's going into my Believable Space mockup. I'm doing source into out. I can go ahead and click export now. And that's it, kids. My project is done. And it's your time to put this all together. Okay, good luck with it. If you need any help, let me know.